K1R Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall Psychic. Well, isn't it a fabulous time of the year to be alive? It's my absolute favourite time of the year as we head into the month of Christmas. Well, I like to make it about 2 months of Christmas, but anyway, who's counting? It's just absolutely the most magical, fantastic time of the year when I think we get renewed hope. We start to look at the things that are really important to us in our lives, and that's not Christmas shopping, that's being with the people that we love. And I think more than ever this year, I think we're really starting to appreciate what family love and being able to get together and share a meal and some funny stories and just be in each other's company is so important. So this year I think it's going to be a magical, magical Christmas, and that's my prediction because I just adore Christmas. So Simply Tarot card of the week this week, I'm pleased to say, is a really positive, upbeat sort of card. It's the Wheel of Fortune. And it's one of my absolute favourite cards because it can be an elevation in money. And who doesn't want an elevation in money? We could all do with that after the last couple of years. For some people, it'll be fortunate enough to be taking an overseas trip. And I know, countries were starting to open their borders up, and now they're starting to slam them shut again. But for a few people, they might be able to make a nice little trip overseas and enjoy a holiday. But for many of us, it's about completion phases. It's about sort of things coming to a completion, things that we've been working on, decisions, choices, changes in our lives, or just being able to sort of say, well, I'm done with that. I've exhausted every possible angle of looking at my life, of the changes that I needed to implement or the things that I needed to work on in myself. And now I can finally say that it's complete. It's like the final piece going into the jigsaw puzzle. I can really, really start to feel as if my life is now going to start to move into a new path. And I think that's a really wonderful card to have as we head into the month of December, that if we've completed all the things that we needed to do in 2020 and 2021, then that's a good thing as we move forward into this very festive season. Look, it's no surprise that it's my favourite time of the year. I'm a fellow Sagittarian, and I just always, ever since a little girl, I've always enjoyed this time of the year. It's always given me such hope that, even though things might be bleak and may not be the best that you want them to be in your life, there's always this magic of hope at this time of the year. And I'm a real sucker for the Christmas movies and things like that. I watch them all. I think they're wonderful. And, I don't really particularly have any particular favourite. I just like them to have a happy ending and everybody to live happily ever after. That's not too much to ask, is it? Particularly not at this time of the year. Now, we have the sun in Sagittarius because it is the Sagittarian time of the year. Now, the sun in Sag at the moment is conjunct or hold hands with the planet Mercury, the planet of communication. So this is where people are starting to really, I think, get into the festive season. I've noticed this year, much, much earlier, people putting up happy snaps about Christmas or their Christmas trees up or they've got Christmas songs on the turntable than I've noticed in any other year. And I think it's because we've had such an horrendous couple of years with a pandemic that we all want something to sing about. We all want something to be joyful about. So keep it up, everybody. I think it's fantastic. And I think it's a magical time where, we can start to sort of maybe ease up a little bit on the things that have been troubling us and try and look for some positivity. So having Mercury holding hands with the sun at the moment, I think is absolutely magical because even if you haven't got a good voice, you can still belt out a Christmas carol or two. And it's sort of, I think with all this positive energy going out into the world, just maybe it might rub off on some of those silly politicians around the world who just are so hateful and so spiteful. And we need to change people's thinking, and we can start with them, I think. The rest of us mere mortals, we've already worked that out, that it's a time to be joyful. We also have a couple of other, not so much planets, but other parts of astrology that are sitting in Sagittarius at the moment. One's called the part of fortune, which is known as the Arabian part. It's not where we find our pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I wish it was. But it's where we sort of find the things that I think that are going to make us feel fortunate, or where we can start to find joy in our lives. Now, the part of fortune is actually conjunct or holding hands on what's known as the moon's south node. Now, the south node is karmic, and it's usually where we look for taking the easy way out in our lives. Now, how I'm going to interpret the part of fortune conjunct or holding hands, the south node in Sag, is I think it's a time where we can all just start to be thankful for our part of fortune or our joy in our lives is this time of the year, and to be thankful for the people that we have in our lives, and to be thankful for those that will be joining us around the festive table this year. And I know that there's been many, many people around the world that have had heartache and loss and tragedy and have lost people during this pandemic, through the pandemic, or for other reasons. And that's not an easy time for anybody, but I want you to extend the hand of friendship and warmth and try and make their time a little bit better. Just knowing that somebody cares, or somebody sort of sent them a message or made a phone call and asked them how they are, and let them talk, even if it isn't the most festive of talk. If they want to have a good cry, well, let them have a good cry, because that's you're giving them a little bit of joy. You're giving them some release. You're giving them an opportunity to release some of their frustrations, their hurts, their disappointments, their grief. And that will then in turn fill them with a nice, warm, glowing feeling inside that somebody cared. So I think it's a really important time of the year that we have to honour this. So Christmas carols are the order of the week. Doesn't matter what your favourite carol is, put it on, sing it loud and drive the neighbours nuts. So we've still got Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion, is sitting in Pisces. Now, look, I'm really excited to say after about 5 months of Neptune going retrograde or backwards, where we've all been sort of walking around in a fog trying to find the light switch, trying to get some sort of direction in our lives. And we've had many questions, and I know many people have inboxed me and said, I've been having these wild, vivid dreams about things of my past, and they're true to a point, but then they're very exaggerated, and sometimes they've been scary. And gee, I didn't think my life really went that way. Did it really? Why am I having these dreams? Well, that's all part of Neptune going retrograde, is to make us sort of delve into our unconscious or our subconscious mind and clear everything out. And sometimes it sort of takes us on a journey that maybe we didn't expect, or it bends our version of the truth to a different version. And it's so we can look at things in not just being black or white, that maybe there's many shades of grey or many different colours that could have come into the situation. Well, Mercury's about to go direct in the next couple of days. So there will be a little bit of a shift. For some people, they might find it difficult sleeping. Some people might find it difficult concentrating. And other people are just going to be so excited they're raring to go, and they find that all their creative juices are coming at once, and, they can't get pen to paper quick enough, or can't get the paintbrush out quick enough, or whatever the case may be. So for each and every one of us, it's going to be different. And it's not necessarily is it going to just affect Pisces people. It's going to affect every sign of the zodiac. But for each of us, it'll be in a different way. Now, many people may have noticed that there's been little flashes of things from their past, things that they thought, well, why would I be remembering that? That's been part of the Mercury retrograde, is to sort of clear it out, is to clear things out of our mind that we no longer need, that are no longer useful to us, that, serve no purpose, but we stored them away for some reason. So we're now releasing those, which is good. And I'm pleased to say that, most of us have come through the Neptune retrograde relatively well. It's, yes, it's been a time of confusion, and yes, it's been a time of sometimes of not sure whether we were on our right path, but then we've only got to look at what's been going on globally. And every time you thought you got your life straightened out, or you knew where you were going, or what restrictions were happening in your local area, somebody changed the rules and we all had to readjust everything and start again. So it's been a very, very difficult time, and it's been a tumultuous time, I think, around the world too, with all the political leaders all seeming to go to the same school, the school of hate. And, we've had climate change in the middle of all this, and, every time we turn around, there seems to be a new variant of COVID-19 that we all have to deal with or look at. And I can understand if people are a little bit fatigued from this now, and they're just so sick of hearing it, and so sick of, well, what have we got to do now, that it's sort of like, oh, to hell with that. I'm not going to take any notice. I'm just going to go about my life in my own way. Well, that may be one option, but I still think we need to be responsible, and we need to sort of think, well, okay, we are experiencing this. This is a once in a 100-year event. We are in the middle of the pandemic still. We still need to focus on this, and I think, follow the guidelines, the health guidelines, and sort of, maybe not go on social media so much and looking for silly answers, or somebody that might give us a version of the truth that we think, yeah, we like that one better than the one we read yesterday. I think we still need to be very logical and practical and follow the science. And if you follow the science, as much as it might not be to your liking, it is what it is. It's facts, it's figures, it's scientific research. It's backed up by years and years and years of research and training. So, you know, they're giving us the very best information that they can as quickly as they can. And I know here in Australia, you know, every state's got a different set of rules, and I'm in Queensland and we haven't had the border open between our neighbouring state for goodness knows, I don't know, over 12 months now. Seems like forever. And because I live close to the border, it's been a real adjustment. You can't just go down the road and cross the border to shop or go to the doctor. So, you know, we're about to open up here, maybe. I'm saying we're supposed to be, but with this new COVID variant and it's already hit Australia, we don't know. And I'm sure there's many other parts of the world that are going through very similar changes where everything is very uncertain. You know, our politicians and the leaders are trying to keep everything on track and trying to keep everybody upbeat and positive for the festive season ahead. But things are still very much on, you know, the click of the fingers could change everything. So I still think we need to be adaptable, but it doesn't mean that we can't be positive. It doesn't mean that we can't still try and do something nice for someone else. If you have somebody that lives close to you in your neighbourhood that you know that's going to be on their own, why don't you make them a little gift and drop it off to them, even if it's just a home cooked meal or a batch of cookies or something like that, or something that you know that will bring a smile to their face. Sometimes just even a phone call or a message is something that can brighten their day, that makes them sort of feel really important and really special. And it doesn't have to cost money. It can cost a little bit of time and a little bit of patience and a little bit of love. And I think that's what this festive season is really about, is about really looking out for everyone else around us. Yes, we still have Mars sitting in Scorpio. Now, Mars feels very comfortable in Scorpio. He's trying to sort of work through things and get people to sort of really put on their battle suits, I think, towards COVID. You know, like, let's go for this one last bout and let's start to really sort of arm up and sort of say, we're going to beat this. We're going to do everything that we're told and instructed so that we can get on top of this once and for all, and the world can get back to normal, hopefully, in time to come. We've got Venus conjunct holding hands with Pluto in Capricorn. So anybody that's looking for love, this might be the perfect time that you can step outside, you know, do what you're able to do in your own local environment, get out, sing some Christmas carols, go to a movie, go to something festive, and enjoy being around other people. This is a time when you may meet somebody that is very, very different to the type of partner that you've attracted before. I'm not going to say necessarily more serious. I'm going to say different. It's somebody that, you know, 2 years ago you probably wouldn't have looked sideways at or wouldn't have thought that that would be the right person for you to be looking to form a relationship with. But now that you've changed and they've changed and so many things have changed in our lives, we need to revamp the way that we're looking for love. And it's not always about, you know, boy meets girl. I know the modern way is all these dating apps and things like that, but I think we just need to open our heart up and we need to be open and receptive to having a conversation with somebody, even if they are a total stranger. Of course, they're a total stranger because you haven't met them yet. So enjoy this festive time. Keep your eyes and your ears open. And if you are looking for love, you may just find Cupid's arrow might just come all that much quicker. We're going to talk with Katrina in La Crosse in Virginia. Are you there, Katrina?
I am.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, Katrina?
What kind of specialties do you have? Can you do mediumship?
I can, but there's always never any guarantee, sweetie, that they'll come through in the couple of minutes that we have here on the show. And that's why I usually ask for a question. If you've got a question and someone wants to chime through from the other side, I'll certainly pass on that information as well. So is there an area of work or love life or direction that you need some guidance on?
Maybe overall general. It seems like the last year, my husband and I, we've had a lot of losses, and we've had a few things that it seems like we just keep getting kicked while we're down, and I would love to know if it's going to change anytime soon.
Okay. The first thing that they're showing me is, I don't think things are going to get any worse. I think you've already hit rock bottom, and I think we're on the way back up again. But during this last 18 months to 2 years, it's not just been the things in life that's been thrown at you. I think it's also been a big adjustment within your marriage, within, how you handle things and how your husband handles things, or how you perceived each other, dealt with situations that were thrown at each other. And it's sort of like, oh, I wouldn't have expected that. So there's been a number of sort of like light bulb moments where you've had to sort of stop and reassess and look at something and think, okay, well, maybe we've got to shift perspective here. All those things now, or all those lessons, if you want to look at it in that way, are now complete. It's like now we're going to start to go into a much better area of life where things are going to slowly start to come back towards you guys, where things are on a very positive front. I do have a woman in spirit, and I'm going to say an older woman, and I'm going to say from your mother's side of the family, I feel, whether it was her mother or her grandmother, but it's an older woman. And I'm not even sure that you actually physically met her when she was here on earth. She might have already passed on before you were born. But she's certainly around you. She's certainly guiding you. And she's certainly, every now and then, it's like she gives you a push forward. It's like, it's like somebody's given you an almighty push from behind that says, come on, you can do this, girl. You've got the strength, you've got the energy, you've got the answers. So if you've experienced that a couple of times and thought you were imagining it, no, you weren't imagining it. It was this lady from spirit. She hasn't given me a name. It's just I've given you the information as much as she gave me. But she's certainly there guiding you. She's also showing me by March next year there's going to be a major decision for you and your husband around the house that you're living in. Were the two of you thinking of maybe making some changes with it, or maybe moving?
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, well, I think in March, the opportunity will be there to sort of really sit down and have a conversation and make some decisions. Next year certainly seems to be far easier on the financial front for the two of you. Money seems to be flowing again. Look, I don't feel that the marriage is certainly coming to an end. I don't mean that at all. But I do feel that the two of you now view each other through a different lens. And that's a good thing, because the marriage has sort of gone through a little bit of a rocky patch there, but it's now come together and you're sticking together like glue. And I think it's even stronger now in a more adult way than it ever was. And that's a good thing. So there's certainly a lot to look forward to next year, Katrina, and certainly an increase in money. And I just sort of feel it's sort of like, be very careful what you wish for, because you may just get it. So be very careful what you voice. Don't say things in haste or anger if you don't really want them to come true, because the universe is listening and the universe is granting you a few wishes. So make sure they're the ones you want.
Okay.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave, Katrina. We're going to talk with Bobby in Boyers in Pennsylvania. Are you there, Bobby?
Yes.
Do you have a question I can work with, please, Bobby?
What's that?
Do you have a question you would like me to answer for you?
I just want to know how my life is going to go here.
Okay. All right. First thing I'm picking up around you, Bobby, is that there's been a lot of tears. Has there been an awful lot that you've had to work through and release and let go, particularly in this last 6 months? It's like the last 6 months to me has been the toughest.
Okay.
Has there been a lot of things for you to go through in this last 6 months?
Yes. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're showing me that it's okay. Like it's not a sign of weakness that you've had a few bouts of tears or sort of throwing your hands in the air and say, I can't do this anymore. That's a good thing, because it means that you've actually absorbed, understood and worked with the situations, the energy, the emotion, and that's a positive. Even though you might have felt at the time it was a sign of weakness, or, things aren't getting any better. It wasn't that. It was like, that was sort of like the final bit that sort of, once we had that little bit of a release, then we started to move on further. I can happily say to you, from this month, from December onwards, things are slowly going to start to get better. It's like things are starting to crank up. Things are going to start to get easier. I wish I could say, come the 1st of December, everything's going to be magical and everything's going to be as you'd like it to be. It won't be quite that soon, but we're starting to see progress every single day. It's interesting because I also sort of feel that some of the people in your life that you thought that you could rely on, Bobby, turned out to be not who you thought they were. Is that how you found some of your family and friends?
Lots of them, actually.
Yeah, but it's like what you've got left now, and it mightn't be very many, are good quality. Do you know what I mean? They're keepers. The others, it's like just turn the other cheek, sort of like don't, unless your mind particularly annoys you and takes you there, I wouldn't give them a second thought. You're such a giver, and everybody took advantage of you that when you needed someone, nobody was there, or very few were there. And that's where it's been incredibly difficult for you to understand why these people let you down. You know, it's not as if you didn't know that what they were like before that. It was like you didn't think they had this degree of nastiness in them that they wouldn't even come and give you a hand or be supportive in some way. It's like, wow, I really didn't think they were that shallow or that self-centered. But anyway, you know now.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
do.
lose somebody? What, sweetie?
I said, yeah, I do.
Yeah. But did you lose somebody really significant in this last 12 or so months, like through a death?
Yeah, I lost my brother in
Right.
September.
Okay. Look, I can only begin to imagine how difficult that's been for you. But because all I got was a feeling from the other side. They didn't show me whether they were male or female. They just showed me it was what I term as a recent passing. And it was like this wall of energy trying to push you to sort of say, come on, I want you to be strong now. You know, like put this behind you. It's like it's time to move forward. Were the two of you close?
Yeah, I raised him. He was my baby
Yeah.
brother.
Okay, but he wants you to do this for you and for him. He wants you to keep going. It's like, you know, it's almost like there's been enough tears, enough sadness now. Now, come on, let's do this together. Do you know what I mean? We're stronger together. And just know that I don't think he was ready to go, but it's like he's found some sort of peace with it now, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like nobody wants to accept that they've passed over. I'm not sounding flippant when I say that, but he's coming through and he's trying to share with me that he's at peace with it and he wants you to find a peaceful spot with it as well. Do you know what I mean? Like he can help you more if you can if you can make peace with his passing, that he can then be there to help you, to guide you, to hold you up, to sort of, you know, he can do more for you. He can't do much while you're still in this very grief-ridden stage, and that's very understandable because the two of you are close. But if you can try, even if it's for a few minutes each day, try and find something positive to think of about him or laugh about something you did as kids or whatever, that will help swing the energy back round to a positive way instead of such a very strong grief-ridden way. And he's there he's showing me that there's a really amazing life ahead of you. It's like he's sorry you had to go through all you went through this year, but he knows that it was for the right reasons and you're coming out the other side and things are going to be better. He keeps showing me this beautiful big pink heart. Now, usually when they show me a pink heart, that usually symbolizes new love. Are you by yourself? Is that what he's trying to show me, or is he just showing me the love he's got for you?
I'm not sure. I have somebody in my life.
Okay, well then it's probably your brother's way of just showing me how much he loves you, because he's just showing me this
No,
beautiful big pink heart. And yeah, I wasn't sure how to interpret it because he just kept showing it to me, and it was like he was making it so big that I couldn't mistake it, you know, like, and it was like it was pulsating, like a heart beating, and that's why I asked
no,
whether, you know, whether it's coming from him or whether it was someone new, because I felt it was his heart beating for you, that how much he loves you and he wants everything to be right, and he just wants you to know he's working as hard and as fast as he can to make your world better. But he needs you to help him. He needs you to be, you know, find something to laugh about or smile about that you did together, because that's going to help him help you. Okay. Well, you have
Okay.
a wonderful Christmas. You have a wonderful Christmas, darling, and know he's with you every single day. He hasn't left your side,
Oh, that's good.
and he's still got his wonderful sense of humour too. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave Bobby now in Pennsylvania. So I hope for those people that have lost somebody in the last 12 or so months, and I know it's a very difficult time of the year as we head into the holiday season for real, that you feel that sort of emptiness and you wonder whether or not they know what's going on from the other side. I can assure you they all know. They all get in there and contribute in their own way. Some of them have a sense of humour and some don't. You've just got to look for signs of things that make you smile, that make you remember them as they were here on earth, because when they go through to the other side, they don't automatically have a personality transplant. They are still the same sort of quirky people they were here on earth, and if they had a sense of humour and like playing practical jokes, they still like doing that on the other side too. So look for signs, look for signs in music or something in a message in a movie or, a feather or whatever it might be that's your simple sign. For me, a lot of the times it's about music, and I have different relatives that have different songs to get my attention. So start to follow your own personal signs as we head into the Christmas period. And I think it's a really magical time. And wherever you are in the world, get your Christmas carols out and let's start singing and make the world a better place. And I think the song of the week should be Joy to the World. Until next week, bye for now.